Hey up, it's that old Yorkshire geek here, and got a new thing today. We've got Moon Knight to look at, right, on Disney Plus. So, I'll fire up, I'm just going to go through it, and what's that there? Hang on, oh, crikey. Oh, do that later. Oh, things wanting me to restart, I don't know, updates. Where was I? Oh yeah, Moon Knight on Disney Plus, new Marvel show. I'm not a, I like the Marvel films, but I'm not a comic aficionado, so I've no idea about the character. So if it's not true to the source material, I can't say. I have watched it one time before, earlier on. I was ligged in bed watching it. And to be honest, I did quite enjoy it, for the most part. Oh, there were some things I thought, oh God, here we go. But anyway, we'll just fire it up. I've got it on my Disney Plus on my computer. Oh, pardon me. So here we go. So there we go. Oh, hang on, I've got to take the sound off, haven't I? Because we don't want Walt playing pop with me. I've got the subtitles on. Right. Anyway, so off we go. Right, mellow music playing. It says. So we start off with when it decides to come on. Here we go. This is obviously Ethan Hawke's character. Is it Arthur Harrow? His name is. I think he's got another name, but don't ask me. I don't know. I don't know anything about this story. And there's his walking stick that he uses, and there he's making a noise with must be a crystal glass. He's taking a glink of water. Oh yeah, he breaks this glass, and the shoes come into it. Them oldie worldy shoes. Well, I think they're oldie worldy. I don't know, but they look old fashioned. More sandals than shoes, I suppose. I don't know. There's putting broken glass in his shoes, and then he's going to put his shoes on. Why? I have no idea. Is it some sort of punishment? Like is it the cilice that some Catholics use? Like the Opus Dei use cilices, don't they, to admonish themselves of sin through pain. So is it something like that? I don't know. As I said, I don't know the law. I don't know if this is in the comic. I don't know. Anyway, so there he goes. He's off walking on his broken glass. Because he likes the sound of breaking glass. I know that. I'm no singer. I think it's actually quite a while before we see the titles. If we do see a title, I can't actually remember. I don't know. But we get the Marvel intro, which is cool. I always get a little bit of a thrill when I see this intro. I do when I see the DC one as well, because I'm a bit of a nerd and a geek. I'm just not very knowledgeable. But what's the definition of a geek? I think it's when you get excited over something that you see on, something that's not of the mainstream, so to speak. Sci-fi, fantasy, horror, that sort of stuff. It gives you a little thrill. That means you're a geek. Oh, he's done that Rubik's Cube. We'll come back to that in a bit. There's a bit coming up, actually, that I don't quite understand. Anyway, but we'll get to that. He ties himself to a post with a bike lock. Obviously, so because he don't want to. He suspects he's I think he just thinks he sleepwalks. I think, but it turns out he's got another personality. This is it Stephen Grant? Stephen with a V, just like I'm the old Yorkshire geek, but my name's Stephen with a V, so I relate. There is. He's obviously not been through that door, so he hasn't sleepwalked out. Or so he doesn't. Or so he thinks. This is his goldfish, Goose. Is that a real goldfish, or do you think it's a CG one? Because it just happened to go up there and eat that food right on cue. So do you reckon they've spent $50,000 on a CG goldfish? You never know these days, do you? You never know. Or was it just lucky? There's a little clue there. It's into Egypt. There's Egyptian things in the bottom of his fish tank. Here he has been, all nice. This is one of the things that bothers me about this. I don't know the comic. I don't know the lore, but I suspect he's supposed to be mild-mannered. A bit like Clark Kent, but they portray him as a loser. And I don't think he's a loser, because he seems quite knowledgeable about stuff, but he doesn't stand up for himself. So he's just mild-mannered and meek, but he's not a loser. They call him idiot and stuff like that, and he keeps getting picked on by different people, including Khonshu, the Egyptian deity who inhabits his body when he becomes Moon Knight. Anyway, is he in I presume it's the British Museum. In the trailers, his accent sort of like grinded me a bit, grinded me gears. But in watching it, it's not too bad, to be honest. I'm quite enjoying his character. So he knows his stuff, explained to this little girl. But then his boss comes along, who's called Donna, who's a bit of a biatch. But, she's got to put him down, basically. That doesn't make sense because I'm not dead, am I? And she goes there, she's carrying a box of stuff. It's obviously not that heavy because he's carrying it with one hand, I think. You're not the bloody tour guy, Stevie. And he says, Stephen, actually, I'm Stephen. And it's on his name tag. And he's actually the gift shop. He works at the gift shop. And he's there to sell stuff to the kids, not give them a tour. And then this attractive young lady comes up and says they've got a date on Friday at 7 o'clock, and he doesn't seem to remember anything about it. So I'm presuming it was Mark Spector that arranged the date. That's his alter ego, he's got multiple personalities, as we find out. I'm spoiling it before we get to it, but, sod it. So there you go. So he's off for a date. They don't understand. Are you asking me out? And she thinks, yeah, he's a funny and is this. Hey. But she's thinking, I bet he's got a big willy. Sorry. There's his boss. Hang on, did she say steak? So, apparently he's vegan. Or he must tell people he's vegan, I don't know. But later on he has a bloody steak, doesn't he? So, he does, you'll see. Well, he orders one, I don't know if he eats it or not. Anyway, cut to a bit later on, and they're doing a bit of inventory. Trinkets and gifts from the gift shop. We find out he's late for work a lot because he keeps sleeping in because of his, he thinks he's sleepwalking, I think. So she says he'll be doing inventory for the rest of the week. I'm guessing this is Thursday, by the way. And something happens. And apparently he don't go to work on the Friday because it ends up being Sunday. It goes from Thursday to Sunday. You'll see anyway. So maybe Friday is his day off. Maybe he just works 4 days a week. I don't know. And he's pointing out, he's knowledgeable about this Egypt stuff. They've just got 7 of the gods of the Ennead on the posters, but they're supposed to be 9. And she's like, dismisses him, says, that's not your job. She says, get out, go away from me, because, she's a biatch. And she's got to put him down, because she's probably insecure in herself. Right, he's off to work, not off to work, he's off home from work. Security guard calls him Scotty, even though it's called Stephen. So, don't know why he calls him Scotty. Don't know. Anyway, sat here is somebody juggling with fire in the background. Obviously, it's a place where there's performing arts going on. Here goes one of them human statues. And I actually expected this fella to say something at the end after he walks away, but he don't. Maybe he does in another episode, I don't know. But He done it in this episode. He just sits there still. They ask him for a photo. Can he take a photo of them with the human statue? And so he does, because he's a nice fella. And he reminds them to do a tip. Don't forget the tip. Oh yeah, and put some money in the human statue's hand. And he's doing a good job of being still, although I think we do see his hand move in a minute, a little bit, a bit of a wobble. I suspect probably later on in the series he's going to say something, or he's going to have some importance anyway. I hope so anyway, because it's quite a long scene is this. Considering. Right, so he's off. He gives him a tip as well, because he's a nice fella. He just talks to him. Gets stuff off his chest to the human statue. And that's it. You don't see him again. Right, he's filling up his footprint that he made earlier. Why don't you just brush it over? I don't know, but... He's going to put his tape on his door. And he puts his chains on. To chain the door. Ties himself to the bed. I won't be able to sleep like that. Tied to with a thing round my foot. But then again, I once spent a week with one of those heart monitors on my arm. So it's surprising what you can put up with, I suppose, isn't it? And there's he's doing a Rubik's Cube. And he's reading. Now you see, they get this scene here. This is what we're on about. You get the impression there's a passage of time going on, and not just one night. You get the impression this is over several nights, but no time passes. Because it's like, say, this is Thursday, he's got his date for tomorrow, for Friday. I get the impression this isn't all one night. But that's just me. Maybe it is, I don't know, but I just thought... obviously tries to stay awake. Which is why he's always late, because he obviously falls asleep. And here we go. Comes to... Oh. Has he dislocated his jaw there or something? There's something weird's going on in it, and then he sort of like pops it back in. I don't know, but... and he's all bloody, looks as if he's been in a fight or something's happened. And he's in some sort of Alpine Valley. Where? I don't know. I think is it supposed to be like Germany or somewhere, Austria or let's say it's some Alpine village or small town. Then a voice tells him to go back to sleep. You're not supposed to be here. I think they calls him an idiot. I think I wasn't paying attention to the subtitle. So he's saying surrender to the body, Mark. This is Khonshu talking. The voice of F. Murray Abraham. Oh, the idiot's in control. There we go. Because even he calls him an idiot as Khonshu. But he's not an idiot, is he? He's just mild-mannered. Stop making out that people that are meek are idiots. They're not. They're just mild-mannered. And they're calm. I could be classed as mild-mannered. Obviously, you can lose your temper occasionally, but that's it, you see. Hollywood and filmmakers. I think filmmakers generally... are blustery people. They've got to be, aren't they? They've got directors and stuff, and successful Hollywood screenwriters. They like the sound of their own voice, don't they? And they've got to be outgoing, because that's how you get ahead in Hollywood, isn't it? You're outgoing. And I don't think they can write meek people. They think everybody's the way they are. And if you're not like that, you're an idiot. If you're quiet, you're an idiot. That's how they see it. That's just my opinion. Anyway, so let's say he's trying to escape from these people that are shooting him. I'm trying to work it. It looks German, doesn't it? The writing. I'm not sure. I don't know, because I haven't had a proper shufty. But yeah, it's German, isn't it? So he's in some German or Austrian valley, probably in the Bavarian mountain or whatever. I don't know. Anyway, here's Ethan Hawke as Arthur Harrow. A woman comes up to him and says, Harrow! You think she said Mr. Harrow, wouldn't she? But he says, call me Arthur. So anyway, that's in a minute. Anyway, they're obviously all in thrall to him, all these people in this town. So he's obviously taken over this town. He's very a cult leader, isn't he? By the looks of it, people flock to him. Don't know why, because he's not exactly charismatic, is he? I've never found Ethan Hawke charismatic. I'm sorry, I know he's a good actor and stuff, but I've never found him. I don't know if you heard that. Some kids screaming outside. There's always kids screaming in there. Yeah, Ethan Hawke. I've never found him particularly charismatic, but there you go. But that's not to say he's a bad actor. Right, he's doing this thing here. Look at his tattoo on his arm. It's some scales. It's going backwards and forwards, and it stays in the middle. And he says he's a good man. So this is to do with the goddess Amit, who judges you not only for what you've done, but for what you're going to do. And apparently, he's going to lead a good life. Anyway, Stephen's trapped. The gunmen are all around him. He's go, please, Harrow, I must know. And he says, call me Arthur. You don't just go up to people and call them by the surname, do you? By the way, they're all speaking English. Supposed to be in Germany or Austria or somewhere. They're all speaking English, but never mind. Never mind. Oh, crack, it's turned red as the tattoo. She's going to do something bad, because she says, I've led a good life. I've been good my entire life, she says. And he says, well, you're going to do something. He says, I believe you. But the scales see everything. Perhaps it's something that lies ahead. And he does something to her. It seems to drain the life out of her, because she just drops dead. And you see him taking her away, and she looks like she's had the life drained out of her. Hey, let's have a drink of coffee. And it's nearly cold, as usual. Really good, they take her away. Look, she looks all pale and drained. This chap's telling him there's been a problem with the exchange. Obviously, they're after this. Stephen's got this scarab, golden scarab, and they're obviously wanting that. Obviously, it's something to do with Khonshu, isn't it? Is it Khonshu or Khonsu? Whatever. No, that's funny. He keeps saying, "Oh, bollocks." I keep expecting Spiderweb to go, hey, you said it. What? Load of bollocks. That's a bad news reference if you're into comedy heavy metal. There he is. He doesn't know what's happening. He's trying to get home. He doesn't know what's going on. And he says, well, Stephen Grant of the gift shop, return the scarab. And he actually tries to. He takes it out of his pocket. And he tries to, but obviously Khonshu doesn't want to give it. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Doesn't want to give it up. He closes his fist over it and he can't open his fingers. He's trying to. He's trying to give him it, but he won't. It goes on a little bit too long, does this scene, I think, but never mind. There we go, he's trying. I don't actually like Oscar Isaac. He's playing this well. He's playing this really, really well. And I must admit, I'm quite enjoying this Moon Knight thing. There we go. Oh, crack it. See, it's gone on a bit too long, Didn't have to do this. Pardon me. But that's just it. See, it's a limited series, only 6 episodes, isn't there? I think this was supposed to be a movie. When you get somebody like Oscar Isaac, you're going to make a movie. And I think they've decided to pad it out, make it into a 6-episode series. There we go. Obviously, he changed. He became Mark Spector again. And he's taken them all out. A bit gruesome there, and all this blood. Look, I don't know what happened. Did he shoot them all or what? I don't know. Or did he just punch them all in the head and smash the brains in? They're all in shock at what he's just done, which we never see. Bloody Disney. We just see the aftermath. Are we ever going to see it from Mark Spector's perspective? I don't know. Spoiler, we do see him as Moon Knight in this episode. But that's Moon Knight. Is that Mark Spector? I don't know. That's my van. That's my... We're going, jawohl, that is my van. Sorry for the Germans watching, if there's any, or German speakers, Austrians, etc. It's very scenic anyway. Maybe it's Liechtenstein. I've been there for a day. It was very nice. Then he's being chased in his cupcake van We saw this in the trailers, didn't we? Or part of it. They're gonna kill me. Come on, you bloody cupcake van, move it. Anyway, they're driving down this Alpine Road. Tell you, Jeremy Clarkson and the Top Gear guys would be loving this, because they like the Alpine roads, the bomb round. Look. And he says he hasn't even passed his test, but he's doing all right. So. Very funny. Look at that. As Clarkson would say, so many miles of asphalt draped on an Alp. See, he's throwing cooking, and anyway, we get a thing again. Look, it's coming in a minute. Trying to shoot him, but then he gets a again. There we go. And then suddenly, everybody's dead. Don't know what he does. It's a pity we don't see it. Oh, cracky. Oh, good heavens. Nearly saw that. Oh, this. We get to see the aftermath of this as well. See, they got splattered in that car. Because remember, they're going down this in a zigzaggy road down this mountain. So all them logs come back into it in a minute. See, all the henchmen have these scale tattoos just to show you that you can recognise them. See, something's happened again. He's become Mark Spector / Moon Knight, whatever, and now he's driving backwards somehow, and that car just decides to go off the road. I don't know why. Throws the gun. Oh, and the Khonshu says, "Did he just throw the gun? Then leave us be, parasite." Stop picking on him. He's doing his best. It's not his fault, is it? And a big cupcake goes flying down the road. That came off the top of the van, obviously. Now then, the truck won't start. It's gonna die. Windscreen wipers going on. It's funny. And then, splat. Just like Final Destination 2. Was it 2 with all the logs? Anyway, then bang, it wakes up. Oh, it were all a dream. It were all a dream after all. Or so he thinks. See, he's still tied to his bed. He's not all covered in blood and bruises, and his jaw's not aching after being dislocated or whatever happened to it. His tape's still on his door, his chains are still on. But then we find out something's happened to his fish. I don't know what's happened to his fish, but it's grown another fin. Apparently it just had one fin and it was swimming on its side. And now it's got 2 fins and it's swimming upright. So at some point has Mark Spector been out, come up, found Goose dead and been and got another fish? I don't know. But that seems to be the case because he goes to the pet shop in a minute. Puts the fish in a cup. Not a very big cup either. Look at that. He said, "The fish I bought had 1 fin." And she refers to Finding Nemo. Because obviously Nemo just had 1 fin, didn't he? And she said, "You were there yesterday, bought the fish yesterday." So obviously Mark Spector's been away for a couple of days, and Goose has come back and Goose is dead. And there's got another fish to replace it, but didn't think about checking the fin. So Mark Spector's the idiot, if you ask me. Not Stephen Grant with a V. Right, remember now, he's got a date. He thinks it's Friday. Why hasn't he been to work? I don't know. Maybe he has been to work and we just didn't see it. But they haven't told us that. He's been, and he didn't realise what time it was. I think he's been asleep all day. He hasn't been to work. Maybe it's his day off, I don't know. Nobody mentions it. Anyway, thinks he's been stood up. She's not turned up. And they're getting ready to close soon, he tells him. So he phones her up. And she's a bit cross with him because she went on Friday and she had stayed by herself because he never turned up. And then he finds out it's actually Sunday. And he don't understand, which is fair enough. We've all lost days. I suppose. In my youth. But he's saying you don't understand. Friday comes after Thursday, and anyway, she's cross with him and tells him to bog off, basically, lose a number, because she's been horrible to him now. Genuine mistake. I mean, we've all been stood up at some point, haven't we? Don't lose your mind over it. It's genuine mistake. She obviously wasn't that interested in him, was she? Anyway, so here we go. He asked for a steak. You know what? I'll have a steak. But it's supposed to be vegan. Don't know. Obviously not a very good vegan, is it? I think we're lingering here. He's getting a bit fed. He was a bit distraught, actually. He don't understand what's going on. His life's a bit of a mess. Obviously, he ties himself to his bed because he thinks he sleepwalks. And now I think he's starting to realise there's more wrong with him, pardon me, than what he thought. And he's scared. He's scared, is Stephen. So he doesn't know what to do. He keeps phoning his mum. And I'm wondering, does his mum exist? Because she's never there. He always leaves her messages. So I think his mum doesn't exist. But you never know, so we'll see. We'll see. Right, he's back to his flat. It's kind of snazzy, that lock, though, I must admit. It's not exactly run down. I bet it's an expensive... it's quite big as well, isn't it, for a look? I mean, I don't live in London. I went to London once as a kid, but I don't know much about it. But I imagine that size of a flat in London would be quite expensive if you're renting, even if you're buying, because he lives pretty much in the heart of London. Well, it looks to do anyway. So it'd be an expensive place to live, I should imagine. Can you give Goldfish sprinkles off chocolates? I don't know. Maybe that's why Goose died. Because he kept giving him wrong stuff. Now then, he's dropped his chocolates, his Belgian chocolates. And he notices a scrape on the floor there. Obviously never noticed it before. Must never move that table, ever. It's your flat, Stephen. I mean, for crying out loud. I mean, that table must be heavier than it looks. It must have a concrete slab on it or something. Because look at that. So he notices that just for the first time. Notices that up there. That the board's loose. There must be something hidden in it. Is Mark Spector just getting sloppy or what? I don't know. Or is Stephen getting just more intuitive and noticing things? It's, I suppose you've got to have this sort of stuff, even though it don't make a great deal of sense, does it? But there you go. There's he finds a phone and a charger and a key with a fob. Looks like a car key, doesn't it? Don't know that. Is that a U? Is it a U or a J? I don't know. I don't think we find out what that is in this episode. Who's Layla? And then there's another name further down. Scrolls down. There. Duchamp. Don't know what that is. But mostly for Layla. Those are the missed calls. And then it rings again. So he answers it. Anyways, Layla asks, where is B? She's been trying to get in touch with him for months, she says. And then she calls him Mark, and he says, why are you calling me Mark? And then she hangs up. So you've been texting and calling you for months. You couldn't give me any sign that you were okay. I thought something had happened to you. And she's going on at him, basically. And she's asking why he's putting on the funny accent. And he says he's found that phone in his flat. He doesn't know whose it is. He says, what's with this accent? And then she calls him Mark. And he says, why are you calling me Mark? So there we go. So I think he's starting to suspect he might have another personality. He's probably suspected for a long time, but not wanted to acknowledge it. And now he's starting to realise something's badly amiss. I suppose it would when you wake up in an alpine meadow next to a German castle. Or Schloss. Whatever. Somehow he talks to himself. The Mark Spector personality talks to him through reflections. So he sees his reflection in the mirror talking to him, but it's in shadow, so you don't see its mouth move. And it's quite well filmed and well shot, and but I must admit, it does drag on a little bit. It does drag on a little bit. See that didn't actually look like Oscar Isaac then, didn't it? When he was shaking his head. But, does he physically change when he becomes Mark Spector? Well, no, because we see his reflection properly later. See, that looks like Oscar Isaac, but the previous one, when he was shaking his head, didn't look like Oscar Isaac to me. Was it a pickup shot, and Oscar Isaac wasn't available, so they just had to get somebody that basically same shape, same hair shape? I don't know. I bet that's what happened. And they thought nobody'll notice, but I have. So there. Right, he's trying to get away. All lights are flashing. I think he sees a monster in a minute, or is that when he gets to another floor? Are you through the looking glass, Alice? I'm sure they haven't said that. They'll say that at some point. I bet they do. Right, he's on the 3rd floor now. We want to be on the ground floor. So he presses the button. Look, G, let's go. Come on, ground floor. And then a big monster appears. In a minute. When it's ready. Told it drags on. There we go. Is that Khonsu? I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm not Egyptian. Or ancient Egyptian. See, it's coming. He's scared. And it's turned into an old lady. And she's thinking, oh, for God's sake, why do I live here? But you see, it's supposed to be this run-down place. There's all graffiti everywhere. But yet, it's in the heart of London. And I don't know. And it's got this snazzy, fob for unlocking the door. You'd think he'd just have a key. If it's a run-down, crappy place, he'd just have a key to get in, wouldn't he? Not some fancy electronic lock. Anyway. Nitpicks. Anyway, the lights are flashing again. There we go, monsters behind him. Oh, and he went up. He's on a bus. He's on a London bus. And everybody's looking at him because he just walked up and gone, ah! I suppose that happens a lot on London buses. He sees that monster again. Or Khonsu, or whatever it is. And he gets off the bus and he sees Ethan Hawke. Is he actually there? Looks to be, doesn't he? Yeah, he's holding onto the railing. So he just happened to be on the bus, obviously he's following him. So he goes to the tube station, he's off to work, isn't he? So this is Monday now, isn't it? Yeah, it's Monday morning now. They haven't asked him where were he on Friday. Anyway, he's saying to his security guard, if somebody's following him, don't let anybody in. He says, well, it's a museum. Lots of people coming because it's free. And he says, well, somebody's shifty looking. Right, Donna appears, as if by magic, and here she comes. Get these sorted, take them downstairs, barking orders. But he actually stands up for himself here, look. So he's coming round a little bit. He says, come on, Donna, just give me a minute. So he stands up for himself, goes and sorts something out. He says, you're still on inventory tonight. Didn't ask where he were on Friday. Maybe it's his day off. Maybe, as I said, maybe he just works 4 days a week. And we see, there we go, it's Arthur Harrow. Turns out the guards and stuff, he's obviously known Ronnie for a while, and has he always been, part of Harrow's cult, or has it just happened? Can he just go up to people and turn them? I don't know. But anyway, there's lots of people in the museum that are stopping him from escaping. And we're learning all about Amit here, that obviously, she judges people in the past, present and future. She was the original bogeyman, and she grew weary of the other gods and their kindness to man, I suppose. It's basically just more, what's the word? I can never remember it. Yeah, that. Look, we've all got tattoos, look. If Amit had been freed, obviously she mustn't be free. She just, I don't know, but she's not free to rule the world as they want. There'd have been no Hitler and all this. Oh, they mention Avatar, even their own Avatar, and he goes on about the film Avatar with blue people in. Oh, pardon me. And then he mentions Avatar, the Last Airbender as well. But no, he's on about that, these Egyptian gods obviously possess people, which is what, Khonshu does with him when he becomes Moon Knight, doesn't he? So he's talking about the voice in his head, and maybe he realises that the scarab, as these embodies the consciousness or whatever of Khonshu. Right, so now he's going to judge him, like he did with that woman and that fella. So he's getting out of his arms and says, I'm trying to help. He's been all calm. But like I say, he's been all calm and stuff, but he's not charismatic, is he? He's not for me anyway. I mean, your thoughts may differ, but what the heck? And the scales, I don't seem to know what to do, and it says to him, he's in chaos. Obviously, Amet must be some sort of crocodile god or goddess, because there's a lot of crocodile symbolism. But I thought the crocodile god was it Sekhmet or something like that. I don't know, but I don't know much about ancient Egypt either. I know a bit, but not a lot. Mostly through Stargate, to be honest. But I've been to Egypt and I've been to pyramids. So there. Right, closing time. That moon looks big, doesn't it? Well, it's Moon Knight, isn't it? Obviously, it's the crescent moon, which is the symbol of Moon Knight, and he's doing his stock taking stuff. So he's still fed up, like he's going to cry. Obviously, gone back to being meek and mild, but he's not an idiot. He's just meek and mild. Now then, see, here's well, it says dog squealing in the subtitles, but it's just a noise. He's an animal. He thinks it's a dog, and they're going to investigate, thinking a dog's been hurt somewhere in the bowels of the museum. So he's going to investigate. So he's quite brave, if you ask me. There's a crocodile. Look, we see some movement in a minute, not from that, but behind it, not in front of it, whatever. Oh, look, his reflection didn't move. But that did, look. Ooh. Are you scared? It is quite well made, I must admit. It is quite... it does build the tension quite well. Although some scenes do drag. But this is quite a well done scene. Oh, look at that background. Oh, look, that was good. I enjoyed that. That was a nice creepy moment. I like stuff like that. Stuff like that I think better in horror films than actual shocks and jump scares. I like things that move in the background and you go, oh, did I just see that? That's what we want to see. I like that reflection there. We just got a glimpse of the monster. Right, Arthur Harrow comes over the tannoy and tells him to give him the scarab and he won't be torn apart. But he thinks, right, I'm going to distract this creature here. He throws his bag. The creature gets it. That gives him, it's his chance to run away. Oh, don't break the is it a canopic jar or whatever. Leg it. Don't know what sort of monster it is. Is it? I don't get a good look at it, to be honest. It looks, what it reminds me of? It's a bit like, it's a bit like an Anubis sort of thing, isn't it? Like you saw in The Mummy Returns, one of them, Anubis-like creatures. I think that's what it's supposed to be. Here we go. There's Mark Spector in the reflection, telling him you've got to give him control. So is Mark Spector? Is that Moon Knight then? Must be. It must be, because when he lets Mark Spector take over, he turns into Moon Knight. Spoilers. So he's trying to explain to him that come on, get over with it. I'm gonna die. He says, look at me, you're not gonna die. Because I'm a superhero. Get on with it. He's all red round his eyes. Looks, this, bless him. Bless his heart. There we go. It's going to turn that. Are you ready? Oh, come on then. Do something. There we go. All the bandaging in is appearing. And then he gets... You think the monster's getting him, and it turns out it's the other way around. Look, monster's trying to escape. Ah, there's Moon Knight. Ooh, boot. Punch. But we saw this trailer, didn't we? But... we didn't know the context, and now we do. That water's coming out slow out of that sink, isn't it? And there he is, Moon Knight. Bang, the end of episode 1. There we go. There's no after credits scene, which is a shame. But, to be honest, I quite enjoyed that, I must admit. I don't know how good it was to the source material. People like... Gary from Nerdrotic and Robert Burnett, they'll know more, and so I'm sure their reviews or their opinions will be appearing on YouTube on their own channels, so go watch them. Go subscribe to them. Subscribe to me while you're at it, and like the video if you've heard, like me waffling on about something I know nothing about. But I've been enjoying it, so there you go. So anyway, we'll see what happens next week. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I quite enjoyed it. I didn't like how they made him out to be. They keep calling him an idiot. People keep talking down to him and using him. Especially his boss, Donna. You've got to have the... she's a Karen, basically, isn't she? That's what she is. She's a Karen. Talking down to him and, bossing him about. But she's his boss, so I suppose it's his job, isn't it? If he wants to be a tour guide in the museum, why don't he just apply to be a tour guide, Don't have to get her permission, does he? Anyway, there you go. F. Murray Abraham as the voice of Khonshu. So, yeah, I quite enjoyed it. Apart from, it's supposed to be meek. That's my impression anyway. It's supposed to be a meek character who's, doesn't stick up for himself. But that don't mean he's an idiot, and he's obviously not an idiot because. Hang on, let me close this window. You can't see, but where's my mouse pointer gone? It's there. Because it's done now. So I'm just waffling. I'm waffling to the air. As usual. Right. What was I saying? I forgot where I was. I've lost my train of thought completely. He's meek and mild, but they keep calling him an idiot. And he's not, is he? Obviously, he's quite a clever chap. And he's obviously healthy because he's doing all this running about. And but we'll see how we go. Will we keep seeing it from Stephen Grant's perspective? Because obviously he's the one we can relate to more because he's a nice person. And this Mark Spector's obviously some sort of, more aggressive, and like he's the one that I suppose he's the one that Khonshu likes, obviously, because he told him earlier on, didn't he, to let the other personality take over. So he's the one that can get into fights and stuff like that. I suppose that's what it means. He's the one that's more aggressive and more confident. That's it. Stephen Grant has no confidence. Mark Spector's got a ton of confidence. So anyway, as I say, we'll leave it there, and until next week. And I'll do episode 2 next week, 'cause I enjoyed episode 1, and hopefully it'll carry on being good, because I did enjoy it. Better than Book of Boba Fett, and better than I actually enjoyed it more than pretty much all the other Marvel series, apart from the beginning of WandaVision. In fact, I liked all of WandaVision up to the last episode, because I'm a big simp for what's her face? Oh God, yeah, her that played Wanda, Elizabeth thingamajig. Cause she's lovely. Anyway, but I digress. Right. So tomorrow, what day is it today? It's Wednesday, isn't it? So Thursday is Picard Day for America. So that means Friday, I'll be my Picard review. I'm not doing. I won't tell you that. Never mind. I'm gonna say I'm not doing my news show, but whatever. On Thursday, but who cares? So until next week, if you're just watching me Moon Knight reviews, until next week, I'll say there. I did the thumbs up then. I even got my camera on. Force of habit. So I'll see you next week anyway. Bye.